Well, it's the news that you don't want coming out of Eagles camp. We've had our first major injury as an Eagle linebacker was carted off the field with apparent knee injury. With a full update on that, Jalen Hurts has his worst practice so far of camp, if you can call it that. And there's one wide receiver vaulting up the depth chart. I'm Thomas Mott. This is the Thomas Mott Show. What's up, guys? Thomas Mott here. Welcome to the Thomas Mott Show on a Friday. Let's jump right into the Patrick Johnson knee injury. It's where we have to begin as the Eagles had their first major blow of training camp, their first big-time injury. Now, we're going to update on Nakobe Dean and obviously James Bradberry in just a minute, but let's start with the news of the day. It's not good. Jeff McClain has it here. Eagles outside linebacker Patrick Johnson suffered a knee injury at practice today, an NFL source said. Potentially season-ending, will have to undergo test for final diagnosis. And there are words saying people were distraught at Eagles training camp. Patrick Johnson was rolling on the ground in some serious pain. They had to bring out the cart for him. They did not stop practice. They continued practice once the cart was removed from the field. But as we wait for an official diagnosis, this feels like a left knee injury, which possibly could be an ACL. We won't speculate, but this does seem to be pretty serious. I guess in a perfect world, this would be some sort of knee sprain or knee contusion or maybe a bone bruise or something that would keep him out for a shorter period of time. But as of right now, the expectation is this could be, according to Jeff McClain, a season-ending injury for Johnson, who was having a very good training camp by all reports. Not like he was out there, getting 10 sacks a game or looking like Nolan Smith has, but he was having a very, very good practice and a good really training camp so far. And it's a tough blow to Philadelphia. Not a starter, so again, you can kind of thank your lucky stars. This isn't a big-time player on the Eagles roster, but whenever an Eagle player who, again, 7th-round draft pick, trying to make a roster and playing pretty well, goes down for the rest of the season, it's a big blow. Thoughts and prayers to him. Hopefully the Eagles stay healthy going forward the rest of the way. Now, yesterday we talked about a couple of Eagles who did not practice. We have the actual injury report officially out today. James Bradberry has a groin. He is day-to-day. Deon Cahan has an ankle, and Nakobe Dean has an ankle as well. We were very interested to see what the Dean problem was. We didn't know yesterday, and today we find out it is an ankle injury, and so all three of those guys are out, and two of which, Bradberry and Dean, are day-to-day. And they were at practice today. They did have, no pads, no helmet. They weren't participating in drills. But, for instance, Kelee Ringo got absolutely burned by Olamide Zaccheaus in a drill we'll talk about a little bit later on, and right there was James Bradberry going ahead and, coaching him up a little bit. So these don't seem like major things. They're minor things, but maybe it will keep Nakobe Dean, for instance, out of the opening preseason game against the Baltimore Ravens 8 days from today in Baltimore, but we'll obviously have no more about that probably going into the weekend and maybe on Monday as well. Okay, over here to a couple of decisions being made at the depth chart positions with these players being out. You see with Nakobe Dean out, your first team linebackers are Christian Ellis yet again today and Nolan Smith. And it's Nolan Smith playing off-ball linebacker is a fascinating new kind of storyline vaulting through Eagles training camp right now. We kind of expected him to just play pass rusher, just kind of be at the Hassan Reddick position, because Reddick very rarely drops back into coverage, but they're moving Dean around, and I think his versatility with the speed and agility that he has makes him a prime candidate to be kind of a Swiss Army knife for the Eagle defense. He can rush the passer, but he can also drop back into coverage a little bit better than, say, Hassan Reddick could. And D.I. Birdsblog has a great tweet here about the whole situation. Quote, Nolan Smith's best position is likely as an edge rusher in the NFL. The fact that Philadelphia Eagles defensive coordinator Sean Asai is already lining him up at various spots on the defensive front is promising. After seeing what a role change did for an observed athlete such as Micah Parsons, Eagles are smart to explore different possibilities with Smith, end quote. So we continue to keep an eye on this, but he was the starting outside linebacker over Nicholas Morrow. Think about that, over Morrow alongside Christian Ellis today during the first part of Eagles 11 on 11. Okay, over here to another new position change, Tyler Steen. Now officially still battling for the right guard spot along with Cam Jurgens, with Cam Jurgens seemingly holding that spot down so far. They've moved him over to left tackle. Brandon Lee Gowton shows you on your screen right now. He's looked better at left tackle, coming in, backing up Jordan Mailata. Of course, he did play well as left tackle at Alabama. It is his natural position, but maybe a possibility if you were to have an injury, Steen rolls out to the tackle spot for Johnson or Mailata, whereas you keep Cam Jurgens there at right guard. Now, this does come into question the idea of who plays center. If Jason Kelce were to get injured, do you move Cam Jurgens to center, who then plays right guard? These are all what-if scenarios, but it does show you that they're trying to move Steen around and maybe kind of maximize his potential in the case that he has to be thrust out there. I don't think he wins the starting right guard battle, so if he can't win the right guard battle, make sure he can play both right guard and tackle in case there were to be an injury along the offensive line at some point during the season, but he officially has been seen moving around the offensive line. Now, they mentioned the aforementioned Olamide Zaccheaus route against Kelee Ringo. Get your first little taste of Olamide Zaccheaus, who Dave Spadaro on my interview yesterday, if you missed, mentioned looks very, very fast and very good. And you see here, he ran a nasty route that Brandon Lee Gowton, one of the most ones he's ever seen, to get open for a TD against Kelee Ringo. Watkins followed that up with a nice leaping catch, contested over Vontae Maddox. Quez also just beat Garner for another TD. And so you see Quez and Zacchaeus battling for that number 3 spot, both looking very, very good, and seemingly both being real contenders for that 3rd spot, although I'd give the edge to Watkins, but Zacchaeus is very clearly your 4, meaning there isn't a lot of, I'd say, room for any of these other receivers to kind of maybe steal a starting wide receiver spot in a 4-man shotgun technique. And so Zacchaeus, good job. Ringo got burned. James Bradbury coached him up. That happens. Now, there is one receiver who is moving up the depth chart that's not named alone as Zacchaeus. It's one of the undrafted free agent guys, and it's Joseph Ngata. He had a very nice catch of Marcus Mariota's touchdown pass in 11 on 11s. He's working his way up the depth chart according to Elliott Shore-Parks. He's had a couple of nice catches. Took a big shot from one of the Eagles rookies, I think 2 practices ago. Held onto the football. He's kind of been one to keep an eye on. One of those names we're going to watch in the first preseason game against the Baltimore Ravens, because he will play a bunch. He'll play a ton, at least, early on in this game when most of the starters like A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith either will play a series or won't play at all. So if you wanted a name to keep an eye on during the preseason games, Joseph Ngata is going to be one to go ahead and keep an eye on. He's been the best out of the Charleston Rambo bunch, right? Those guys, the Devin Allens, who hasn't really been practicing yet, but still the best of the wide receivers on the roster that are not, of course, for sure starters. Now, speaking of some of those for sure starters, Devontae Smith, he's had an excellent camp. Elliott Shore-Parks mentions that 11 catches, 14 targets, 1 touchdown, caught a second one today in team drills so far in 5 practices. If you were wondering how A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith were looking, we've seen reports from different people. It's been good. It's been really good. There's absolutely no concern about these guys having some sort of slump in year 2 together in the system. They are going to be fantastic, and Devontae Smith, I think, has really taken that next step. He's scary. Let's just say that. He's going to be very scary this year. The Slim Reaper has been absolutely fantastic. Now, wrapping up here, normally we give you an update on Jalen Hurts' day, and it's normally flawless. However, this has been his worst day of training camp so far. He threw his first interception. Now, Jalen Shore-Parks has the tweet here. 2-minute drill, 16 seconds left on the clock, trying to hit Goddard, picked off by Slay. For all reports, it was not a very good throw, a very easy interception by Big Play. Now, at the same time, he also had a couple of other bad plays there, and Nick Sirianni's making him pay for it. Here, 3rd down and 5, no timeouts, 25 seconds. Hurts keeps it and is short of the first down. Sirianni with a hard coaching moment for his quarterback. Wasn't happy with the decision Hurts made. Hurts does push-ups after the play, so this is by no means a panic report here on Jalen Hurts. He's just having his first bad day, right? He's not he's going to be perfect in training camp every single day for the next month. He was going to throw an interception eventually, and he did. Now, he's about 6 behind Dak Prescott at this point in training camp, as Dak has thrown an absolute metric ton of them so far, but he did throw his first interception, and I guess Jalen Hurts is human and probably not going to have 100% completion percentage in the regular season this year, much to the surprise of all of us, right? We just have, and shocking that Hurts would actually struggle at some point during training camp. Obviously, all jokes aside, he's been fantastic, and today he did make a lot of good throws, but there was the first interception for those of you people who like to keep counting and keep track of that sort of thing. Okay, as soon as we get a Patrick Johnson update, I'll tweet about it. Follow me on Twitter at RealThomasMott, a great place to be if you want the latest updates, and if not, you can just subscribe here on YouTube, because obviously all the tweets that I see during the day are posted here whenever I do my YouTube show. So make sure you guys subscribe to this as well, as training camp continues in full swing. Pads are on. They're 8 days away from that Baltimore preseason game. I'll be live during that with Josh Davis. Plenty of more content coming up, so be sure to stay tuned and hit that notification bell. I'm Thomas Mott. This has been the Thomas Mott Show.